I'm Jim Abbott. I'm the athletic director at Oklahoma City University. I've been in this position for 14 years. I'm joined today by Ethan Hooker. Ethan is an aspiring sports administration professional like you all in the class. He's going to run me through the interview today.
So if you could just give us a little bit of background about OCU, location, the NAIA Division I, our conference affiliation.
Well, Oklahoma City University is, we're a relatively small private university. You wouldn't know that from the name. Many people think we're a state school because of the Oklahoma City name, but we're about 110 years old. We're the private part of the university. We're affiliated with the United Methodist Church. We have about 3,000 students, and so maybe 1,900 of those are undergraduate, 1,100 in graduate school. We have a law school. We have terrific performing arts programs. We've had 3 Miss Americas, which is pretty phenomenal for a small school like ours. We were an NCAA Division I athletic membership until the mid-'80s. At that time, we transitioned to the NAIA, and it's been a very successful run for us. During that time, we've won 62 national championships. And we're right here in the heart of Oklahoma City, so we have a very urban campus. We're, kind of surrounded by neighborhoods. Think Georgetown or DePaul or another one of those kind of intercity campuses. That's what OCU is.
Talk a little bit about the Sooner Athletic Conference.
Well, we're a member of the Sooner Athletic Conference with 10 other small universities. I'd say nine of the total schools are small, private, church-affiliated schools. We have one state institution that really brands themselves as a liberal arts institution. So, what I like to say is that we all love Jesus, but they want to beat our backside, and we want to beat their backside, and so it's been very competitive. Like every other conference seemingly in America, we've gone through a lot of changes over the last decade. Schools coming and going, and some schools transitioning to Division II. We had one school that just closed, ceased operations. But for the most part, we've got a great conference, people who think similarly and work well together.
Let's shift gears here a little bit. Jim, a little bit about you. If you could just give us a summary of your personal background leading to your current position here at OCU.
Well, I grew up in Montgomery, Alabama. I went to Huntingdon College. Huntingdon is a small private Methodist university, about 900 students. I was a baseball player. As I started my college career with a business management major. Late in my career, I had a faculty member encourage me to consider getting a double major. So I graduated with 2 bachelor's degrees, business management and kinesiology. I sort of had this mistaken idea that Procter & Gamble would drive by at graduation and pick me up and I would work there forever. It dawned on me that wasn't going to occur, and again, at the recommendation of a faculty member, I decided to go to graduate school. So I got a master's degree from the University of Oklahoma. I had narrowed it down to Florida State or Oklahoma. Not that either one of them had a particularly good graduate program in sports administration, but I think I needed a bigger name. Huntingdon College is not well known around the country. So I got my master's at OU. The final part of my master's was an internship, which I did with the Oklahoma City 89ers. This was a AAA baseball team. It was a fabulous experience. Not monetarily, it was horrible. It wasn't the kind of thing you did for money, but they really worked you. And more importantly, that 9 months helped me understand the lifestyle that is working in sports. It's not for everybody, but a lot of nights, a lot of weekends, nearly every holiday. It was a great experience for me. I came to Oklahoma City University in 1991 for a new position that they had started as a athletic fundraiser. Did that for 4 years. I went to Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas. Started my family there, and I made a career decision after a couple of years at Lamar that really wasn't an obvious one, and that was I decided I got out of sports. More importantly, what I decided was, with my wife's help, I should say, that I wanted to live in Oklahoma. So I successfully moved back to Oklahoma, but I wasn't working in college athletics at the time. I was working in university advancement fundraising, which still did a great job in preparing me to be an athletic director someday, but I had to make that move with the idea that maybe college athletics or sports in general wasn't going to be my career. Fast forward to now, and I've been in my current position as athletic director here at Oklahoma City University, starting my 15th year. So that's kind of my lifestyle, my life story in sports.
Now, when it comes to being an athletic director at this level, at the NAIA level, what are the challenges, benefits, things that you love, things that you really don't like that come with this job?
It's very interesting. I always wanted to be an athletic director, and when I got this job, I really didn't like it. I started here September 2nd, so school had already started. It just seemed every 15 minutes a coach would walk in and say, "Have you got a second?" And that second was never a second, and it never held anything good. So, I think a lot of doing this job is, in any job, it takes some time to learn the nuances of it. Challenges that we deal with probably start with resources. Our university is supportive of what we do, but probably when we look at our budgets, we're lucky to have 65–70% of the money that we need to operate our programs. So you have to be a pretty good mathematician to do this job. You also have to be an extrovert. So if you don't have enough money, you have two options. One, spend less money. Two, go raise some money. And we, 100 times out of 100, we choose, let's try to go find more money, because at the end of the day, those resources enable us to keep the promise to our students, which is we're going to try to provide you the best experience we can. So I'd say that is a challenge, the resources. Another challenge, just in terms of understanding what this job is about, are human resources. So I had never fired anybody when I started this job, and it to this day is just about the hardest thing ever. But hiring. We have just sort of finished hiring a coaching position on our staff, and it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. There are a lot of rules and regulations that you have to follow, and it's the most important thing you do, because if you surround yourself with go-getters who know what they're doing and they're good at their job and they're motivated, then you're going to be better. So lots of things go into that, particularly a coach. You have a lot of anxious kids. They don't know, how's my life going to be impacted by this, but you really have to take your time, and it's such a critical, I don't know that it's a challenge so much, it is a reality of what my job is, but that more than anything else is not particularly fun, but has more impact on where our department's going than virtually anything else that I do.
So you've been in the position of athletic director for long enough to know how things are changing. What have you seen recently?
It's amazing. Just this past year, a big change that we're all sort of dealing with is understanding the Fair Labor Standards Act. So you see FLSA, I'm so proud of our university. We were way out in front of this. Doesn't make it any easier because you're still, at the end of it, you're doing math. But it relates to paying minimum salaries for full-time employees. We want our employees to be exempt because what that means is you can work more than 40 hours in a week without being paid overtime. That's pretty much guaranteed in our business. That internship I did in baseball was more like 90 hours a week. And there was no FLSA involved in that. You know, we made $600 a month. So I would say that's been a big change. We're seeing Title IX looked at more significantly than we had in the past. For years, for 35, 40 years, Title IX meant equal opportunities for women, and that meant it meant lots of things, but mostly it meant offering women's sports. Now we are defining and understanding Title IX much more so from the sexual harassment standpoint, and it's a big issue, and it is something that didn't exist for an administrator so much 5 years ago that we are all thinking about an awful lot today. We're all undergoing training. You know, another thing I would tell you is I mentioned the changing dynamics of conferences. That it's a reality. It's a reality of our job, and people that used to be your conference partner that you felt really close to and appreciated, one day they're with you and one day they're gone. And it's the kind of thing that you have to stay on top of because your university, your athletic department needs a home that's stable and provides those things that you expect it to.
Jim, what are the biggest issues facing athletic directors in the NAIA?
I think at the NAIA level, we are doing the exact same things that UCLA and Stanford are doing. A lot less zeros. We never play a game where millions of dollars are on the line, and I like that, you know, because lots of money can make you make some decisions that you might regret later. I think Baylor is a great example of that. The other kinds of things that we deal with at small colleges is, you know, we often use athletics to enhance enrollment on campus. Large state institutions, they don't care if they have 5 more soccer players or not. But at smaller, particularly private schools, those are some of the things that we deal with. We're helping to manage the enrollment on campus, in addition to being a front porch for the university and kind of telling the story of the university. So I don't say that's a big challenge or a big concern or a big change, but it is more a part of my job in small college athletics than it's ever been.
I'm going to throw you a curveball, Jim, but I know you can answer this easily because you have so much passion for this subject. What's the best part of your job?
You know, it's a real easy answer for me. I love watching an 18-year-old snot-nosed freshman come in and grow up and go out and make their mark in the world. A week ago, we had an event where we had a grand opening for our new soccer locker room on campus, and several of the donors to that project were the snot-nosed freshmen that were here when I worked here in 1991. And these men and women have gone on to become coaches and lawyers and doctors. And, you know, it's just pretty cool when somebody values their experience here enough to want to invest in making sure that we're able to provide that experience for someone else. So, you know, when I talk to recruits, I tell them I have 2 children of my own and I have 400 stepkids, and it's absolutely true. Now, as a parent, what I can tell you is your children sometimes make you prouder than you can ever be, and sometimes they frustrate the heck out of you. So it isn't all rainbows and sunshine, but the really rewarding part, especially as long as I've been here, the rewarding part is still impacting one person. And then the longer I'm here, it's rewarding for me to think about how we've grown the department, how we've added new facilities.
Now, when giving advice to somebody wanting to enter your field, what would you tell them?
Well, the first thing I tell people who talk to me about wanting to work in sports is it's not glamorous. So, you tend to watch the Sugar Bowl and you see the celebration afterwards. Here's the athletic director, and it seems glamorous. It's not glamorous. So, I think you need to understand what the profession really is. And ways that you can do that are, one, you can call people like me. I talk to people all the time, whether it's a phone call, an email, a tweet. I happily give advice. What an individual needs to think about is, how do I position myself to have that opportunity? Because we all start at the bottom. I'm great friends with Joe Castiglione at OU. We all start at the bottom. Unless your last name's Steinbrenner, you're going to start at the bottom. So if you're a college student, you're probably at a university that offers sports, and there's a built-in opportunity there to volunteer to get some experience. My advice is, don't just rely on your academic credentials to get started. Try to find opportunities. You and I both worked in minor league baseball. I think minor league sports are a great way to get experience, because generally you're going to have to be versatile. You're not going to just be stuck in one area. You're going to get experience doing public relations. You're going to get experience trying to sell something. And make no mistake, if you can sell something, you're valuable. You're going to get experience with operations. So if we run out of nacho cheese, do you know how to change nacho cheese? I'm not going to hire you because of that, but I'd make a note that, hey, he can benefit us in more ways. So reach out to people in your area or anywhere in the country to pick their brain, learn how they got started, gain experience so that you have both a resume with an education and practical experience. And as you're doing both of those things, what you're also doing is you're building a network, this network of connections that can help you get to the next opportunity.
You mentioned earlier that we all kind of come from a lot of different backgrounds. Is coaching experience something that's useful for working in administration?
I think it is. It's interesting. So I have never coached. I take that back. I sort of semi-successfully have coached my kids' Little League teams, but I've never coached. So I don't think you'd need a coaching background to be a successful athletic director. I don't think it hurts, because I think just understanding the challenges that coaches have is very important for an administrator. When I tell people I've never coached, I go on to say, I am the coach of the coaches. So the beauty of that is, I don't tell anybody when to throw a curveball or how to kick a soccer ball or row a boat, but I offer them advice and direction as it relates to the major components of what they're doing within their program. So I can't tell you that I think you have to be a coach and be an athletic director, because I never coached.
How important is it to have a master's degree, in your opinion?
Well, I think if you want to be an athletic director, you ought to be thinking about a master's degree. And now the reality, do I think it's important? I don't know. I mean, I have a master's degree in sports administration. Do I think it greatly prepared me for what I faced? Not really. I mean, because nothing can prepare you for dealing with some of the issues that we deal with. What you have to understand, what the people in this class need to understand, is that we're in the education business, so we value education. If you want to be an athletic director, plan on getting a master's degree. I see some people in the world now with PhDs that are athletic directors. I wouldn't go that far, but it's one more thing that separates you. And when you consider that your employer in college athletics values education, then you ought to get it. If you want to do what you and I did, which is work in minor league sports or professional sports, they don't care if you have a master's degree.
In conclusion, Jim, do you have any advice for the MCA class that you'd just like to share?
You know, a couple of things. It just seems like yesterday that I was in grad school doing the same thing. So, you know, one, congratulations on making it to this point. Two, keep working. I hope that they will have heard me clearly say that really the hard part's getting started. And then you have some difficult decisions on opportunities down the road, but working in sports can be very rewarding. It's not, at least at my level, the kind of job you're going to retire early from because you made so much money that you can do that. But you have to persevere, and when you're young, get a variety of experiences, see what feels the best to you, and then with passion and perseverance and a great attitude, keep working hard to get there. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to share some expertise. I encourage class members, there's something I can do, reach out to me. My email address is on our website, and I'd be very happy to help them any way I can.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for your time today.
You bet. Thank you.